It's a table.
Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, and that was a table. And welcome back to the Orion conspiracy with my good friend Ikifu. How are you doing, sir?
What is your job?
Very good, I can see. He's a man of few words. Oddly, really, because he never appears on camera and he always does voiceovers. I don't know how that works, but anyway. I'm sure he'll tell us later. So we learned in the past episode that Devlin McCormack really wants to find out what happened to his son. That was no accident and also no weather balloon. His son did not die from an accident.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Which is a fact that he believes just because some person shoved a note under his door.
Anything unusual happened before Danny's death?
Relations between everybody were a bit strange.
And now we're just meeting... Oh, and actually, we are meeting the second person of color in the game. I misspoke in the last episode.
They do some research.
I'd forgotten as well, so I am equally guilty.
I mean, these are all white coats, basically. And they have little to no personality whatsoever. This one that we're talking to right now is the wife of the cook, whom I think we'll meet in this episode.
And I think he's also of color now.
He's Indian.
It's about it. Yes.
And not like Native American, like real Indian from India. Kind of.
Not Chris Columbus doesn't know where the fuck he is in the world.
Exactly.
Actual
Yes.
Indian.
Yes.
What more could a girl ask for?
There was like a tiny little bell that went off in my head and went, "That's not a joke. That's racist."
Fix your own food for your son.
I can mute myself. Anyway, fast forwarding to us having a talk with Kaufman, the scientist, another blank slate, but he will turn out to be very important. However, we must just crisscross each other as we walk up to conversation.
Mr. McCormick, we all are.
Yes, it's very important Devlin be on the left because...
run-of-the-mill jack-of-all-trades scientist.
Yes, because game script.
You understand, I'm glad. Yes.
For just about anything.
Once it likes
It's
to
not
work,
as if they were completely inexperienced at this kind of thing, because they did,
enjoy being stuck in the middle of nowhere with 19 people who don't get
what was the name of it?
Innocent
There's
Until
two
Caught?
games.
Innocent Until Caught and Guilty.
You of all
Are these the same
know that.
people?
Danny was my friend.
Yes, yes they are. I am going to double check that with
I should have realized.
Google powers.
Ye olde Google.
Close to us.
Innocent Until Caught and Guilty are part of the same series, and they were published by Gremlin Graphics back in the day. Also, science fiction games
How well
that
did you know Danny?
I haven't really completed. This, however, is a standalone game. It has nothing to do with those two games, but the engine sure
Out here, you need all the help you can get.
reminds me of those two games. And they are both British developers, or they're both British games, ostensibly from the same developer.
Did anything unusual?
Yeah, you were right, by the way. It is Guilty and Innocent Until Caught, which I'm sure Innocent Until Caught was a subtitle. But Giant Bomb is telling me otherwise.
I think Innocent Until Caught was the first game, and the second game was called Guilty.
Help you in any way I can.
Guilty subtitle. Oops, we got it wrong the first time.
Exactly.
And also the Gene Machine, which has a date of 2005. Really?
Yes, the Gene Machine, which I think was their last game, which had sort of a steampunk finish to it, and it also uses the exact same control scheme as Orion Conspiracy here does.
Oh God, really?
Yes. One thing I should mention about the Orion Conspiracy, one thing I think it does very well is the UI, or at least it tries to do well. Let me
Or the shed.
hear me out. It is a context-sensitive, as we can see here. It is a context-sensitive UI, which means that you click on something, and then it'll show you icons of what you can do to that thing you just clicked on. If you can open it, it'll show an open icon. If you can shove it, it'll show a shove icon, and so forth. However, there are kinks to be worked out. As you so brilliantly mentioned in your review, there is a puzzle coming up involving a rat and a fire extinguisher. And I know that just put all...
Really.
Yeah, exactly. That just put all sorts of images in your head.
Strong.
Basically, this UI is so user-friendly, it gives the solution away to some puzzles. Like, just flat out.
Yes. For example, The only people that will have a give verb when you interact with them will be the ones you can ever give an item to. So it very clearly shows that there are certain people who you will have to give an item to at some point.
Yes. And also this doggy. Let's get very attached to this doggy for his brief 10-second appearance in the game. There are in fact 2 dogs running around the station. But this one we should grow very attached to because he will meet a hideously gory death, actually.
And if we're not attached to him, that makes that death entirely pointless, which really is our fault for not getting attached.
Exactly.
In the first place.
Yes. I am sensing some similarities with the John Carpenter movie The Thing. Actually, now that I think about it, a lot of similarities, although very much less
You were at the funeral.
deftly explored. Let's just put it that way.
Representing my company.
Yeah.
What is your job?
You remember us talking about
Megami has
somebody
some
sharing a
business
voice actor with the main
It's
character?
like to work
Yes.
here.
Here is a man talking to
Megami
himself.
Hudson is different to working for Kobayashi. You could never understand.
And this is brilliant because these are
I've worked with Megami
mortal
Hudson
enemies,
all my life.
really. These are
That's all I'm
2
prepared
employees of competing companies who have waged interstellar war against each other. And it's basically
Literal war.
literal
There were
war.
boom and
Shooty,
No,
lasers,
Dan is dead.
big
It
spaceship
was
battles and all that shit. And they're just having a casual chat. The dude in the red shirt is standoffish to a fault, and Devlin has apparently forgotten that these people blew up his ship and rendered him incapable of keeping down a job and drove his wife to suicide. You know, bygones.
I've got to be going now. Just
We'll
leave
mention it
us
when we go over the
out.
comic, but I thought that was quite interesting, like how important essentially joining a company was in the culture within which this game is based.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of work that went into the backstory of this game. Oh, this is where we came in. And this screen will become much more important later on, but you know, just walking in there, it just looks like a cargo hold. It doesn't look like an arriving area or anything. Oh, look
It
at
doesn't help that there are various rooms which are in fact completely useless.
Yes.
In fact, we've already seen one on the way to the doctor's office. There's one room, and then you go through that, and then there's the doctor's office.
Yes.
That little room, no point to it.
There's a lot of that, actually. Yeah. There's the other one.
What do you want? I got work
The
to do.
galley and the eating area. I mean, technically, you do dump. Again, spoiler. You dump the rat in the eating area, but that could have just been one screen. But they had to draw 2 of them.
Could have been, but then they might have to work out a says
Concussion charges on
you can only drop the rat in
Those
when
are dangerous sons of bitches.
not Raman,
All right. Yeah.
Chandra.
Chandra.
Say Chandra.
Exactly. Chandra. Yeah.
Making them
I'm pretty sure I completely screwed up the name of the captain of the entire space station in my review of this game, so I'm not going to try and say that one, but I'm almost certain the cook
Do you have any
is
close
Chandra.
friends?
It is. It is Chandra, and I think the captain's name is Farty McFuck You
What do you
Pants.
know about Megami Hudson?
Oh, him!
I know,
Aye,
like
Yes. Also, who leaves a fire extinguisher just laying out on the floor, like it was in the previous screen, just plonk, like right at the bottom of the steps? Someone's gonna fall over that. There's gonna be insurance stuff to deal.
Even Kobayashi
It's just,
changed Legion.
it is a work hazard.
There was no real end.
And I would wager that the guy who put that there was the guy very much like this one who does not give a fuck about anything.
got hurt, right?
Yeah, but I
He
didn't hurt
does not
anybody
give a fuck whatsoever. Actually, this is the 3rd person of color
else. War's over.
we've met in the game.
Right. The war's over.
White man with opinions. Oh, I hate my
But they're
Exactly.
still assholes.
Cheers. Wrong can.
Yes, speaking of which.
Incidentally, if someone's gonna write in a comment and say that I missed the spanner on the floor, don't worry, I did pick it up when I went back, but there's a lot of, as I said in the previous episode, there's a lot of backtracking in this game, so there's a lot of judicious editing in this playthrough, because if not, we would be here all fucking night. And we don't have that many beers.
I do, actually, but it seems like a bad idea.
Looks like
Not to put ideas in anyone's head.
Welcome to episode 21 of the Orion Conspiracy. We have now vomited twice.
We've been through the game 3 times. We're not entirely sure why we're doing this, but nonetheless, here we are.
Which would still not be enough time to convince. Is that no? It's not La Paz. It's what's her face? The pilot. I forget her name.
Oh crap! So do I.
All right, the pilot. She will stand there and just bounce this volleyball, and it is a volleyball. It's not a basketball.
Come to take a swing at me.
Actually, it is. No, wait. She challenged us
I
to.
want to say it's basketball.
Yeah, she challenged us to basketball, but there's this whole bit where you have to remove the volleyball and that, and fuck it. Anyway, she'll stay there until the cows come home. Pretty much for the entirety of the game.
It's something we skipped over, or talked over, rather. But essentially, Devlin gets challenged to a game of basketball and or volleyball we cannot remember. And so the entire point of that particular sequence is the challenge has been made. She's down there ready to go, and then in a minute we're going to go into her locker and steal her belongings.
What do you do?
And never actually participate in. Oh God!
Kikes, slant-eyed spicks, and Asians all cooped up within spitting distance of each other. If it wasn't for me,
Well, cheers.
racial shit break
White
out.
man with opinions.
What is it like to work here?
Boring, boring, boring.
And that was actually the moment when the game jumped from being
The most excitement.
endearingly
You for your
immature. I mean, just throwing swear words around because, gratuitously we can do that. To
on this rock for
you
another
don't
day.
really understand how to write, do you?
How well did you know Danny?
No, not entirely sure how to human this writer person.
Not really. I mean, if there's a way to make a character more despicable,
What do
I
you know
think
about
the
Danny's
only way we could do that was to have him pantsless and an infant on his lap.
He wasn't a trained pilot.
I was going to go with punching kittens, and I'm not sure.
Is anything
He can
If
do
one
both
is
at the
better
same
than the
time.
other.
Technically, he has his hands free.
By the captain.
A kitten is an infant.
Dog Mayer was going
Two birds with one stone, to use a
He went on
Right. Let's.
possibly too appropriate metaphor.
You know what? Let's not sink to the level that this game has just thrown at us.
pop at me. I would have
I agree.
Which we kind of already did, but let's just move
do you know about
hastily
my
past that.
They step out of line.
I mean, we did literally point and shut up as soon as he went into the
concussion charges?
Yes.
worst, most racist and terrible line of the entire game.
Yes.
Yours.
But also because for those of you who are watching this and have not played the game, that is kind of a defining moment where you go, okay, this is sort of endearing to the point where, okay, this game is just trying really, really hard.
Not yet, anyway.
What can I do for you then?
The Lord of Edge.
What is your...
I do the catering.
Anyway, here we do actually meet Chandra, who is a very sweet, lovely person. And Devlin's mission in life now becomes to utterly humiliate and disgrace him. Or, what is the thing you pick up in the pantry? I mean, it really must be worth ruining a man's career for.
It's a
What
pie.
is your background?
Oh, it's a
I was
pie.
trained as a chef and worked in one of the
Yeah.
companies.
Remember that guy that was having the absolute
But when I
piss
met
ripped
Rena,
out of him in the
I arranged to be posted
lab
wherever she
area?
was.
Yeah, Roland.
By women in
well
the
did
same
you
room?
know Danny?
Roland, yes.
We
Being
joined
ripped
socially.
the
Never
absolute
complained
piss
about
out of by somebody in the
We
same
had a couple
room.
of conversations.
He wants a
And he
pie.
mostly stuck with his colleagues.
I suppose this might be a
What do you
good
know
time for a
about
plot
Danny's
recap.
death?
Yes.
Investigating Danny's death, Devlin has found out
It still hasn't
that
lifted.
they're using
Did anything unusual
concussion
happen before
charges
Danny's death?
on the station.
Concussion charges. That is, people with severe head injury are being
What do you
torpedoed.
know about Megami?
No, that's not how that
They don't
works.
drink, and they take their
No, I don't
food.
see it being very effective.
They're very
Maybe if they were shot at light
Thank you
speeds.
for talking to me.
They would polarize in midair. Anyway, yes, please continue.
Hello.
And so Devlin is going along this
Just to stay in the
investigation, trying to
I wanted
figure
to
out
ask you
if
something.
that was
Okay,
something
but
to
make
do
it
with
quick.
Danny's death. Because it was no
How
accident.
well did you know Danny?
It was
Murder.
Murder.
Didn't talk to him much.
That's never going to sink in.
Member of the United Planets Peacekeeping Force up until the time they were disbanded by the pro-rearmament.
And then there's the cybersecurity guard who actually seems reasonable.
What is your job?
I assist Ward.
He probably
If there's any
dies.
trouble, I back him up.
Yes, now he is an absolutely fine character who shall cause us no trouble whatsoever.
To other companies who want to steal
He's
us.
actually an alien. I'm sorry.
Operation Warmint. Don't
Is
trust
he?
them.
I'd forgotten that.
He is. I think he's the one that eats the dog.
Oh no. Poor pupper.
It's where people put their personal
By the way,
belongings while-
someone is going to yell at me in the comments for this. I'm gonna be spending some time on this screen, and then I'm going to leave it without actually solving the puzzle that is demanded of the screen. Don't worry, I'll be back. I wasn't looking at the walkthrough the entire time. I actually wanted some sort of semblance of me actually playing the game when I was recording this.
Rather than just
One
a
of the
straight
pockets
A to B.
contains a nav
Exactly.
passcode.
By the way,
See?
this is a good... Hey, what's that red thing? No one knows. Anyway, this might be a good time to actually bring up something positive about the game, because there are positives, otherwise we wouldn't be watching the... If it was just Runaway 2, then fuck it. Who's gonna watch us play that? Yes, I know. Yes, I will. The amount of the amount of custom animations going on in this game. Him taking the jacket. You actually see him take the jacket, not just a, reach in, pull out kind of animation. Him searching through the jacket is a custom animation. Someone spent time on
Shouldn't
this
ask questions like that
in the
around.
animation bits.
You'll get into hot water.
And they probably go at a fairly decent frame rate.
They do. It is fairly well animated.
Do you do any experiments where you'd need
Surprising for
concussion
SVGA.
charges?
You think the first thing to go down would be the of animation frames.
Nope. Actually, I think they skimped a little bit on the backgrounds. It starts out really pretty. I mean, for the time, of course, and by the time you get to the bottom floors,
If you did something for me,
it sort of goes into the cartoonish, style-y thing. The good thing about this game is it practically takes place the same location the entire game. It's basically the Leisure Suit Larry 6 of science fiction.
Salads or bran cereal like the rest of them. So I think
But
we should get
yeah.
Can I get that quote in writing? The Leisure Suit Larry 6 of science fiction.
Yeah, do you want me to sign that?
Yeah, babe, go ahead.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'll just type it into our Discord here. I mean,
it's not that bad, I would say. I mean, when VGA came along, there were a lot of lazy gradients.
Fuck me.
Put in. That's where that door leads. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there was a lot of very lazy gradients being placed instead of something that somebody had looked at for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
What is
I'm sure DOS Nostalgic would have a word or two to say about that.
Right, well, I think the game graphics here are actually hand-drawn, but there seems to have been a lot of editing in terms of, drawing up the outlines of objects and such. Either that, or they actually drew it on screen. Now, I happen to know for a fact that Space Quest 6 was drawn entirely on screen. All of the backgrounds were drawn, with a mouse. And, oh yeah, by the way, there's a lot of that in the game as well. You get stuck somewhere.
He had a walkthrough in his hand the entire time.
Yeah.
The
And
entire
now,
time.
and this was probably the first time actually I looked up a walkthrough in the game and I just went, fuck me. That is a bit of pixel hunting, I have to say.
Yeah.
Even though this game does something that we take for granted these days, but actually wasn't standard for the time, which is that every time you hover over something, it tells you what the fuck it is.
I mean, something started around, at least the first time I remember seeing it was some early LucasArts titles. Granted, it wasn't up where the cursor was, it was sort of down just above the verb grid.
Status bar-y thing.
Yes. Which
that is actually true.
Fond memories of.
We have Day of the Tentacle from 1992, and this is 1996. So okay, not exactly.
Oh, God, we had Secret Monkey Island before that.
Did the first Secret of Monkey Island highlight? I mean, the one where it just had text inventory. Did that highlight?
I can't answer that for certain. No.
It's the rat's home.
But that, even the first one, VG, that was like 91, wasn't it?
Okay, you're right. This game deserves no breaks for that. Fuck this game.
I ought to have a good reason for leaving something down here in these caves.
What is he gesturing towards?
The rat, obviously.
It was on the opposite side of the screen.
He's old. He needs glasses. Better glasses.
And who leaves all this shit down here? The thing that boggles my mind is every time he picks up an object, here, watch this. You pick up the hammer, he actually picks, you can see him put the hammer away. And the same with the lamp. Someone had to sit there and draw this custom animation of him scooching down, picking up some shit and shoving it in his seemingly bottomless jacket pocket. Sorry.
It probably wasn't a case of just moving the item sprite to the right location. It probably was an entire custom animation at that point. I don't know if they could really do that number of sprites at once.
They could, because this, as far as I know, this game did not have a disc version. It was CD-ROM only.
I think you're right there. Not like the Seventh Guest that had a floppy disk version planned at some point.
Yes, it did. Now, how many discs would that have been?
Work?
I don't know.
All of them.
Let's ruin someone's career. This is going to be great. Oh, you can sniff it, you can taste it, you can lick it, you can chuck a fucking rat in it.
You don't have to do any of those things apart from putting the rat in it. Why am I keeping this goof up? It's just making this really, really creepy. I don't know why I keep going on. Anyway, I'm rambling. How are you?
You're being weird.
Special ingredient.
Thank you for telling me. I was not entirely sure if I was being weird or not, hence so I was a bit of confusion going on with that. Anyway, I'll stop now. Bye.
What does this remind me of? It reminds me of something from Day of the Tentacle, I think.
Hey,
there's one guy who just gets up to the microphone and just goes, I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm sorry, goodbye. Oh, it's the IRS agents. That reminded me of the IRS agents.
I left it out for you.
Thought I heard something.
You were gonna...
I should have. I made it.
Nope.
It's
okay.
Chicken.
So it was the voice. I was thinking of when Bernard ruins the stamp collection.
Is it?
And then he fixes it. Fixes it and brings it back.
It's better now.
This place.
And as if I'm being controlled by a sadistic puppet master.
Well, we all feel that way sometimes.
It's true, and if you don't feel that sometimes, you're weird.
Yes. Or don't play enough adventure games.
I mean, I don't make the rules. Sorry, guys.
No. The sadistic puppet... Yes. The sadistic puppet masters make the rules. Thank you for talking to me. I'll just be off.
Your parting words.
You go... You go have a sob in the corner there.
Yes. Behold the field in which I grow my fox. Look upon it and you will see that it is bare.
Oh! Where did Fuckface McDick go? The game does not actually tell you that he left. You have to go to the crew quarters and traipse around an endless range of identical looking doors to find that there is one door that will actually open.
Now tell a lie, there are slight differences between them. One says crew A, one says crew B.
Right. You got it. Come to daddy.
Right. And you're telling me they didn't just paint over the fucking legends on the wall.
I don't think they were that smart.
Also, one thing I have to appreciate about this scene is that he just puts the pie on the floor and goes, hey pooch, poochy pooch.
Like the fucking dog.
Yeah, come eat this motherfucker. And he scoots off without giving him the actual pie, just puts it on the floor and just goes, fuck you buddy, I'm off.
Do you do any experiments where you...
So basically the first episode of Red Dwarf when they meet Cat.
Something like that. Our work is confidential.
Yes.
Your fiancé said you'd help me. I've done him a big favor.
I put a rat in his curry.
Very well. Yes.
Yes, we did.
Concussion charge.
Well timed.
This would not be a good time to have to clean out congealed beer all over my keyboard. No siree.
I have to leave now.
Maybe I will talk
TMI time. I already had to chuck one keyboard because my cat vomited all over it. Oh, look, the episode's over.
No. Oh, okay.
Bye. Anyway.
Oh, you meant that.
Yeah.
Oh, egg on my face.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and do all those things you kids do. Ad-libbing is not my strong suit, but do leave us a comment, because we do love the comments. In fact, we would like you to recap what we have just said, because we don't quite remember at this point.
Where am I?
Exactly. But until next time, we will see you around the Chrono Stream.